Yes, hello, and welcome to our next installment in our series of programs here on how to play card games, Solitaire. We've got a question here from one of our members. Don writes in, "Hey, card guy, I love giants, love a game about giants. Do you have any recommendations?" Well, Don, let me throw you a curveball and instead suggest a really fun game called Windmill. It is just a lot of fun to play, and I think you're really going to like it. So why don't we start off with an overview of our deck. Now, of course, we are using a standard pack of playing cards, 52 cards as you see here. Of course, you've got two colors within the pack, red and black. You've got four suits, as you know, 13 ranks per suit. Ace through king. Now this game does require two packs, so go ahead and grab a second pack for a total of 104 cards here. Go ahead and get all those cards shuffled. I recommend the riffle technique, and we're going to go ahead and shuffle those 7 times to achieve the mathematically proven maximum amount of randomness to begin our game. So now let's look at the layout of Windmill, and I believe it'll all begin to make sense here. So go ahead and start off with a nice clean surface and select an ace from the pack. Any ace will do, and place it in the center of the playing surface. That will be your ace foundation. Your job on that ace foundation is to build up. Now this is independent of suit. It just needs to be in sequence, ending with king. That's 13 cards, but you have to do that 4 times. So that is correct. Your ace foundation will eventually support a total of 52 cards. Now when you deal out your tableau, you're going to place 2 cards above and 2 cards below, as you see here. You're going to create 2 cards to the left and 2 cards to the right, and look what you have here. It's the beginning of our Windmill. That's going to be the 8-card reserve for the game, and you'll see how it works here in a moment. When you discover kings during the course of play, any 4 kings actually, place them in the corner as I've shown here. These will become your 4 king foundations. Now on the king foundations, your job is to build down. And again, it's independent of suit as long as it's in sequence, descending order from king down to ace. And you only have to do that 13 times. So you'll have 4 piles of 13 surrounding your ace foundation. Cards remaining, of course, will form your pack, deal 1 at a time, and then during the course of the game you will develop a waste pile, and the top card is also in play. All right, well, why don't we give it a shot here, Don, and let's see how Windmill works out for us. So I'm going to begin here with a nice clean surface to begin our game. I've selected an ace, place that right in the middle, and I'm going to put 2 cards up and 2 cards down to create our Windmill. And there we have it, a nice cross foundation. Now, what do you see right off the bat here? What can we do? Well, the first thing I'm going to do is move this king into the corner and set up my first king foundation, and then you replenish that position in your Windmill from your pack. But that queen actually comes in very handy. Remember, kings build down, so that queen can play right on top of the king, and we rebuild the Windmill accordingly. Now that ace foundation, remember, builds up. So the 2 goes on the ace, you replenish the position from your pack, you rebuild your Windmill, so to speak, and we continue to play. So that jack will do nicely on our king foundation. That 10, if I can grab it, can go right on top of the jack. Remember, we're descending on those kings. So 10, then the 9, and then here comes the 8. Now we've got some work to do here. So go ahead and reach into your pack and replenish those positions and essentially rebuild the Windmill so that reserve is always in play. Now look, we have 2 kings who can immediately slide into position to form our second and third king foundation. Now remember, king foundations build down, so put that queen on the king, followed by the jack, followed by the 10, and followed by the 9, and that king foundation is on its way. Let's go ahead and rebuild our Windmill here. Place 2 more cards at the top, and then another couple of cards here and here to continue play. But look, now that king, and again, any kings will do, that is now our 4th king foundation that we've established. I found an 8 here that can play on the king foundation. What can we do next here? Well, if we don't have any moves, then we're going to rely on our pack, and we're going to flip through some cards and create a waste pile. And recall that top card of the waste pile is always in play as well. Now look, that 7 can play up on the king foundation. Here comes the 6, I should say, on the other king foundation. The 5 and the 4 can follow. Go ahead and rebuild your Windmill whenever you have gaps in your reserve. Continue to flip through your pack, and look for cards to advance up to the king foundation. Of course, I really want to get that ace foundation going too, but we'll just have to wait for that 3 to turn up. In the meantime, here's a queen and a jack and a 10 and a 9, and those cards all work nicely to build on our king foundations. Let's continue to flip through here. We've already rebuilt our windmill, and now we'll flip through our pack and look for cards to play. Queen, jack, 10, and the 9 all work wonderfully. We'll rebuild here, and we're still looking for that 3 to get that ace foundation off the ground. Here's a 5 and a 4. Okay, we can place that 8 on the king foundation, followed by the 7 and a 6, and now we'll rebuild our windmill accordingly. Our 8-card foundation is back. Let's continue to flip through cards and see what we can find to put into play here. Now here's an opportunity. Well, no. Remember, and sometimes I have to remind myself, the kings build down, they don't build up. So I'll put that 5 instead on the 6, follow it up with the 4, and then put the queen in this position over here. Remember, you can replenish from your waste pile as well. So let's continue to flip through cards here. Here's a 6 and a 2. Really need that 3 there to get that ace going. But in the meantime, we'll just continue to build down on our king foundations and rebuild our windmill. Here's a 5. What else can we do here? Really need that 3. That was a 9. There we go. There's the 3 we've been looking for. And remember, the ace foundation builds up. And you can draw cards from the king foundation if they're strategic for you. Remember, we need to get 52 cards on that ace foundation. So that's our primary objective here. Well, now we're up to a 6 on the ace foundation. And then we can put that 9 right back there on the windmill and replenish what we have there. Okay, how about that jack? Not just yet. Let's continue to flip through cards and see. Now remember, those kings build down and the ace builds up. There we go. We can place that 7 and the 8 and the 9. Ooh, we got some action here. And the jack and the queen and the king. And with that, we've completed our first set of 13, and we're on to our next set of 13 cards. Remember, 52 total on that ace. Let's rebuild that windmill. Get those cards in play here. Okay, if that does it for cards that we see in our reserve, let's flip through our pack, and we'll see if we can find some cards to put up into play here on any of our 5 foundations. Here we go. We can place that card up on the king foundation. Place that 3 on the ace foundation, and look, go ahead and draw that 4 and that 5 from the king foundation. Get that ace going. I've changed direction here because I think that 5 and 6 from my waste pile does me a better job, and then I can draw the 7 in there. Again, feel free to change directions if you see a better course of action for you strategically to get cards suitably placed where they belong. We're going to put that 3 on the king foundation here. Boy, this card, here we go, 2 and the 1. So now that king foundation is now retired. We're going to go ahead and continue cards here on our windmill. Continue to flip through your pack, looking for cards to put into play. Put a 3 on that king foundation, followed by the 2 and the 1, and look at that. Another king foundation is retired. You're making some headway here. Let's continue through our pack and look for cards that we can put up. That 4 and the 3 work nicely. Could use a 2 now for that king foundation. Don't have that. King can't use him yet. Not used out. That 3 can go up there. We're getting close on these 2 remaining king foundations. Could use a couple of 2s here to put those 2 to bed. Let's see if we have something here. A 3 and a 9. There's a 10, another 3. Now we can build up on that ace foundation with the 8. Now it's time to redeal. So we'll just flip through our cards here and look for something to put into play here. Put up the 9 there. Now we've got a 2, and the ace retires that king foundation. Here's another king and a 4. Could use a 2 or a 10 to keep those foundations rolling here. Oh, there we go. There's the 2 we need for the king foundation. Complete the ace. That's the 4th king foundation retired. And we'll continue to move here. We really could use a 10 to move that ace foundation along here. There's that 10. You can follow it up with the jack and the queen. And then you can place the king and that ace. So now we've completed 2 sets of 13. We're halfway there. Let's rebuild that windmill and continue looking for cards to play. Now we're up to 3 on our ace foundation. Really could use a 4 here. Let's continue to move through our cards. Well, I guess we're going to have to redeal and give it one last shot to see if we can build these foundations up as directed. Oh, there's that 4 that we need. That helps us. We're getting closer on our ace foundation, followed up with the 5 and the 6, 7 and the 8. Now let's rebuild our windmill. And we've completed our waste pile, which is good news. We'll continue to move through these cards. Now we're up to 9, followed up with the 10 and the jack and the queen and the king. And that's our third set of 13. 13 more to go, and we're going to be in great shape. Let's replenish and rebuild our windmill. Fold through these cards here, looking for an opportunity. There's that 2 and the 3. That moves up nicely, followed by the 4 and the 5. I think they're all falling into place now. 7, 8. Here's the 9 and the 10, the Jack and the Queen and the King, and look at that. We've done it. We've completed our foundation. So there you have it. Don, I hope you enjoyed it. Next time you're looking to challenge a giant, why don't you give the windmill a shot? And I think you'll find this game just a lot of fun to play and a very winnable game that has a good pace. So again, thanks for joining me. Hope you enjoyed our lesson. Be sure to join us again next time.